Hello, MARTEZ here. It's Monday, April the 29th, 2013. Welcome to MARTEZ Presents COEDS, and I have my crew, Shanna, Angela, and Brian. So how was everyone's weekend?
Fabulous. Great. I agree. Absolutely fabulous.
Weekend. So if this is your first time tuning in to COEDS, we bring you the latest in entertainment, news, and more. On today's show, this is what we have. We're going to talk about a candidate running for mayor in Mississippi who admits that she was a former prostitute.
Okay.
Yeah, also Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith reveals that he and Jada do not punish their kids.
Oh.
And Ashanti interviews her ex-boyfriend Nelly.
Oh,
now that had to be kind of weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we have a question from one of the viewers. Yes, relationship question, and we're going to get to that momentarily. But what we're going to do every Monday here on COEDS, we're going to basically give our song picks. Yeah, you know, a song that we think is really, really hot or whatever. You know, and it could be a throwback. And mine today is Naughty by Nature. Yeah, hip hop hooray. Remember that? Yeah, hip hop hooray. That's my song pick. Let's break it down. Hip hop hooray. Oh. Cut the music before we tear it up. But, hey, I like Naughty by Nature. All right, so here's what we have for you as far as what's going on here in Baton Rouge. Okay, so our very own concert series, Live After 5.
Yes.
Yeah, the concerts are held in the heart of Baton Rouge and Repentance Park between the River Center and the Old State Capitol. There's no cover charge. You just bring your lawn chairs and your dancing shoes and be ready to start your weekend the Louisiana way. The celebration is every Friday from 5 to 8. This Friday, May 3rd, the band Euphoria.
Oh, they're so good.
Yes.
I like them.
I do like them. I enjoy them.
They're going to deliver some hip and funky R&B. So that's this Friday, 5 to 8, downtown Baton Rouge. Live After 5 is nice.
It is. It's a lot of fun. But it's not too hot.
Right,
exactly. No, honey, I do not believe in perspire.
So the New Orleans Jazz Festival kicked off over the weekend and will continue on Thursday, May 2nd, and will end on Sunday, May the 5th. Now, some of the performers for the festival are R&B soul singer Kim, Fleetwood Mac, Maroon 5, D1. Now, D1 is from New Orleans. He's a rapper, attended LSU, graduated, taught middle school here in Baton Rouge for about 2 years, and he released some mixtapes and received some massive media attention.
Cool.
So hats off to D1. Frank Ocean, Aaron Neville, Kiana Laniel, and Lush Life.
I'm going to definitely go hear her.
We love her.
Yeah, we love her.
Can't wait.
Yes, and of course, Maze featuring
Frank and Beverly.
Let me tell you the truth about Maze featuring Frank.
Go ahead,
I think that is just, they are just, you know, it's a wonderful legend and everybody knows their music. I think that it's just a good time on CD, because when Maze performs, it's like somebody has taken battery acid and put it in a water bottle.
How could you dare say that?
He can't
losing it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I still enjoy him. Now, I will say this: Earth, Wind, and Fire performed Sunday, yesterday, and they were amazing, honey.
Yeah,
they still have.
But see, it's just, and then you kind of feel bad, but then you hear Charlie Wilson and how he still sings so good.
Charlie Wilson,
and then you be like, Maze, and Maze will have the audience sing everything, and I would prefer it like that.
Yeah, you would want Maze to get lost in a maze.
I've never seen Maze live in person, but I've heard a lot of really good reviews about it, so I'm surprised that you say. But I've never seen him in person, so I can't judge.
Well, be sure to check out the New Orleans Jazz Fest.
We'll be there.
Yes, definitely. So, what about this candidate running for mayor in Mississippi amidst being a former prostitute? Her name is Linda Verdreen, a candidate running for mayor in Vicksburg, Mississippi, and she recently opened up about her employment record and admitted to a past life as a prostitute. Now, she revealed that she was once involved in a brothel and that she met her husband while on duty. She says, I was a working girl in a legal brothel over 30 years ago. It's true, my husband was my client. My husband and I have been married for 28 years. She admits that she has no regrets and hopes to prove that her story is an example of how others can turn their life around. Angela is laughing. Do you think it's going to hurt her chances at being mayor?
I don't think that it should. It probably will, especially in Mississippi.
Oh yeah.
But I think that everybody, I mean, if she can embrace that's courage to me.
Right.
For her to embrace that and be able to say it, because I mean, you might as well say it before they find it out, because that'll really hurt her.
I agree. I do believe that she should be the first. You know, if you address the elephant in the room, but it is what is tickling me is as you were reading, you said something in regards to her career, and I'm thinking, honey, that's really not a career. I mean, it's illegal.
Well,
it's not like something you can be proud of. I'm going through my job, like I'm on my resume, and from 1988 to 1992.
But the way she made it sound, it was just like something that was legit, like a brothel. I said, come on, brothel.
Right. I know. I'm like, that's not a professional job.
It's not, but I mean, you got to pay the bills.
Okay, and that does, and that's
that will pay it. Well, it depends on who you are.
When it comes to supply and demand, though, that is really brilliant.
Well, because it's always in high supply.
And your supplies, you don't have to get them from nobody else. But
yes. But like you said, courage, definitely courage for her to even come out and say that. And I just hope it doesn't ruin her chances.
Especially if she has the fortitude and the ability to truly make a change.
That's right.
For the city that she's running for mayor.
And it shouldn't matter, because at the end of the day, everybody has a past.
Yes, we all got skeletons, honey.
You know, everybody has
What's
a past.
her name?
And I think, what's her name? Linda.
If you do not win in Mississippi, go to California. I'm sure they will accept you. They love prostitutes and actors, everybody.
Arnold Schwarzenegger was governor.
That's right.
Absolutely. So, Will Smith reveals that he and Jada do not punish their kids. Now, in a recent conversation with Metro New York, Will chatted about his new movie with his son Jaden, but he also revealed that he and Jada do not punish their kids. This is what he said: We don't do punishment. The way that we deal with our kids is they are responsible for their lives. Our concept is, as young as possible, give them as much control over their lives as possible. And the concept of punishment, our experience has been, it has little too much of a negative quality. So when they do things, and you know Jaden has done things, that's what Will says, you can do anything you want as long as you can explain to me what you've done and is it right for your life. So is this good parenting,
no,
Angela?
Hell no.
Okay.
Hell no. Now, I love myself some Will Smith and some Jada. But let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you what the Bible says, because it goes back to what the Bible says.
Amen.
The Bible says that foolishness is bound in the heart of the child, but the rod of correction will drive it far from them. It is your responsibility. God gave you precious gifts from his own mind, from his own personal spirit. And he gave them to you to raise to become responsible adults. A child does not have the ability to make wise decisions because they don't know enough to make wise decisions. Amen. So if you ask a 12-year-old child, do you think it is wise for you to look at this naked woman all day long while she's in her house? He's going to say, yeah, I think it's wise because I'm learning anatomy, and he can come up with some really smart answers. But do you think it's wise for your child to do that? It is your responsibility as a parent to teach your children right from wrong. Amen. They don't have the ability to make those decisions. Right. I think you're doing your children a disservice, Will and Jada.
You know, Will and Jada have some very interesting, different. You know, the whole thing with the open marriage and.
Well, they're adults.
It's not an open marriage. They don't have an open marriage. But what I will say this: I'm not a parent. I think that Angela's the only parent here, but I don't know. I just feel like people always try, I mean, no offense, but parents in particular, always try to force their way. I think that everybody is different. So I feel like if their parenting style has worked, then maybe they should continue it. I like innovative things. I feel like whenever I become a parent, I would definitely punish my children.
Right.
But I just feel like, you know, if there's a different way of punishing, like maybe that's effective to their kids. You know what I'm saying?
To ask a 16-year-old child at what they've done, you understand what you've done.
But if you taught
and if you think it's good,
but
then
if they've been taught a way that is good, and if they're doing something different, then they would know that it's not right.
But that's the key. If they're taught.
See, punishing and teaching is two different things.
What are you teaching them?
I feel like they're teaching them. I mean, I feel like Will and Jada.
I think they're both teaching them to know how to make a lot of money and deal with industry. But do you know how to live if you don't have this money? You know, Paul said, I've learned to be both the base and the bound. That means I've learned to have a lot, and I know what it's like to live with a little. So right now, you know what it's like to live with a lot, because I'm teaching you to live with a lot. I'm teaching you how to deal with industry. But if all this disappears tomorrow, what do you know how to live on your own? That's my question, Willow.
You think them people, she whips her hair back and forth. You think those people read the Bible?
Too. I would like to hope that
they do. I would hope so, but probably not, based on their.
They're really like free spirited and have that.
Well, you can have a free.
But I mean,
spirit,
I know that your perspective is coming from like, you know,
biblical,
a Christian,
right.
Yes, and as a parent.
But I feel like it does have a lot of validity. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a parent. Don't plan to be one for a very long time. But I was a child, and I was reared with punishment and spankings, and I turned out just fine.
Amen.
You know, but I do agree with Brian that, you know, every parent knows their child, and they know what works for their child.
Right.
But as for me and my house, we will have spankings. And I do believe in punishment.
Yeah, to me too. To me, it's too much talking. I mean, to me, you just don't give a child all these options and, you know, let's talk about this and stuff. You're about to get your beat.
What I'm telling y'all is I got that all the time. I was always in trouble, always getting put out of school, and I always got punished, but I never stopped because I was punished.
But here's the thing.
It never stopped me.
Here's what I feel about punishment. I think there are different forms of punishment. I don't think that everything has to be a tail whipping for every child. You know, I have 5 children. My oldest daughter, I never had to spank her because I could, you know, fuss at her and not even really had to raise my voice, and she was crying and in extreme tears. Right. Whereas my 4th child, if I don't take my hand and wrap it around his neck, not that I really do that. You know, he's just, I had to deal with him a little differently. Right. So there are different forms of punishment, but I feel that no punishment teaches a child that there are no consequences to their actions, and that is not real life.
I think the bottom line is that we all agree that everybody has different ways
That's
to
right.
parent their children.
Bottom line, they said it best in The Color Purple. Beat 'em. Okay, so Ashanti interviews her ex-boyfriend, Nelly. Ashanti is working on her new album, and she's currently starring in the show Army Wives. Also, she's been serving as executive producer and anchor at Fuse News. Ashanti and Nelly broke up, and it's pretty interesting how she was able to remain professional during a recent interview with the Hot in Here rapper. So during her sit down, they chatted about things like how hip-hop has changed since Nelly first came out and whether his music has evolved. He also explained the meaning of his Moses tattoo. Now, what was most interesting about the interview is when Ashanti asks, what type of girls does Nelly like?
No, she did.
And his response, oh, word? Let's talk about that. Bad breath is a deal breaker, someone who lacks the confidence within themselves to understand who they are. I won't say that's a deal breaker, but I definitely think we would at some point hit that wall, and a nice set of thighs always helps. So that had to be weird for Ashanti, you know, interviewing your...
That's a read.
I think
Ashanti breath
so. You know what? And I'm like, but she got a nice pair of thighs, and maybe she's lacking some confidence within herself.
Because he said it might not be conditional. When I hit that wall, didn't it hit that wall?
They hit that wall, and that's why they broke up. I was thinking the same. We hope Ashanti's breath.
Brush your teeth, Ashanti.
But you're cute as a bug.
She is. And see this picture of them. They were sitting down there and just. Ashanti's
She's a beautiful
pretty.
girl.
She's pretty.
Beautiful.
She looks good. So, we wish the best for Nelly and Ashanti. I like both of them.
I do too.
Now it's time for us to address our viewer email. This is really interesting. Number one, thank you all for sending emails. If you have any questions about relationships, finance, I mean anything you want to ask us, just email dmartez@dmartez.com. So this question is about this lady, her and this guy are dating, and they've been on several dates, and it's the 4th date, and they're still going Dutch.
Okay, it's the 4th date?
Right. He pays, she pays. So what she wants to know is, when should she ask him to pay for her?
I think the question should be, when should she ask to start paying for her own meal? I think that's the question that we should be asking, because for me, I feel like if you're pursuing me, if you're dating me, you're going to pick up the tab anyway.
Yeah. And it's the 4th date, and they've both been paying for each other.
Yeah. I'm going with Shanna, but my question is a little bit different. The question is not when you should ask him, sweetie, to pay for the meal. I feel like you should not have to ask him.
Thank you.
And if he has not made an attempt to say, you know what, today I've got you, maybe you may need to start rethinking this relationship.
Right.
Because maybe it's not going in the direction, maybe he's still seeing you as a friend and not as a companion.
Right.
But just because it's the 4th date and he hasn't picked up the check, that determines...
If you're pursuing me...
If you're courting me, you should definitely be picking up the check.
At some point.
At the beginning.
But are these really dates?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
when
a
they
good
go on
question.
dates.
She could be misinterpreting what the outing is. She could probably be.
But you know what? I'm gonna say this,
dates,
and I know y'all gonna hate this.
Just chilling.
I'm gonna say that if you're not my old lady, then I don't know. I just feel like women expect for men to always pay for stuff.
Exactly.
They do, and I feel like their man don't know her. I mean, for these 4 days can happen in 4 days.
Right.
So, I mean, me being the person I am, I would pay, just for a woman because of the way I was raised. But
right, because you were raised to be a gentleman.
And that's probably about 15 people in America who's been raised to be.
That's right. And I got one of those 15, so they got 14 left.
Right.
But to me, but by not paying for someone's food does not depict you being a gentleman or not.
Right.
I do.
No,
right.
I mean, but when you're courting someone, I feel like it is the gentleman thing to do. If you're courting me, if you're pursuing
Says
me.
who though? All of
these
notions and all these traditional things that people have, we just feel like it's the right thing to do, and people feel offended. And if you feel like you're offended by this man not paying and you haven't said anything, then I mean, easily she could be ruining something that could be good.
Right. And to me, when you get in a relationship or you're getting to know somebody, you should come to the table with your own stuff. Don't come to that table expecting like, okay, we're going on a date.
I agree.
He gonna pick up the tab.
Right.
Why? Just because that's the way it's been.
I mean, come on.
I agree, but let me tell you, traditional is not always bad. So let's not make that mistake of saying we have these traditional ideas.
But what I'm saying is, what are you bringing to the table? Like, what? I mean, you expected him to already pay. Why? What's the difference?
Because I am a female. Because I am a lady.
Okay, and he's a man.
But I mean, you said in the beginning, you said
right. But what I'm saying,
but
I'm raised to be that way. What I'm saying is, for people who aren't, I just feel like I'm raised to be that way only because it's something that has been just like you all were raised to be that way. Something that has been kind of forced upon us. It's just like what we know is right. But who explores the other options?
Well, apparently she does.
And him too, because you. I don't know. I just feel like you keep going on dates with him, so he courting you and you courting him.
Okay, so bottom line, due to time, what is in 30 seconds? What can we tell this viewer?
My advice to you, and I'm going to make mine really quick, is that maybe you should just communicate with him. Find out exactly where he is in this relationship. Is he trying to pursue a relationship, or is he still just trying to see and get to know you? Mm-hmm. If his answer is that he's pursuing a relationship, then I think that he needs to start paying at least. Trying to pay for dinner.
Okay, Shanna, 20
for
seconds.
For future references, you just need to get some clarification at the beginning of the courtship.
Right. Absolutely. I agree.
2 for $20 at Applebee's.
That works too. And on that note, that wraps up this edition of MARTEZ Presents COEDS. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you all. Have a great week. This has been MARTEZ Presents COEDS.